gentlemen, children of all ages, if there's one thing that Ubisoft is really good at as of late, it's stepping right in the middle of things. And needless to say, they have stepped in at something huge this time because they have practically an entire country coming out against them, ladies and gentlemen. So if you haven't heard about the latest game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, well, you might have heard that instead of featuring, the first game in an Assassin's Creed franchise to actually be based in Japan, they decided to pick a character from a history that really wasn't all that accurate to the way they're trying to portray them in the game. And also, it turns out it's a black samurai. Yes, the old story that had been around is kind of a rumor mill for nonsense that actually quotes itself a lot, is pretty historically inaccurate. And needless to say, the Japanese are not putting up with it. They have gotten absolutely roasted left and right. The trailers got ratioed into oblivion, especially over there in Japan. And now, not only is the Japanese government officials deciding to pull Ubisoft in for actual questioning over this kind of nonsense, but now they have a pop group out there with over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube that has put a diss track out there that is absolutely blasting Ubisoft for the entire thing, and it's absolutely hilarious, boys and girls. So here we go, because if nothing else, historical accuracy is important just as much as it is lore accuracy. And for the insult of basing your first game in Japan and not using ninjas in an Assassin's Creed game, you've absolutely lost your mind, boys and girls, especially with all the wonderful assassins, ninjas, and, of course, actual samurai in Japan that were wonderful and have incredible, rich histories and lore. And, well, guess what, boys and girls? The Japanese are not putting up with it. So we're going to check out this article from That Park Place, getting all the juicy details, because some of these lyrics are absolutely scathing, and I cannot wait to bring them all to you. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe and or follow if you have not already, because we are getting closer and closer to 800, and I could not do that without every single one of you. And leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think about this. Are you happy to see the Japanese pushing back against this absolute nonsense of Western ideology getting tried to shove into cultures it should not be? And also, if you're watching it live, let us know what you think about this as well. So here we go. Japanese pop song Why Yasuke mocks Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows for featuring Yasuke taking liberties with Japanese history and more. And I'm actually pretty sure I'm screwing up the pronunciation of that name too. But hey, you know what? Guess what? Ubisoft screwed up all of Japanese history. So hey, I think I can be forgiven a little bit on that one. A Japanese song titled Why Yasuke mocks Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows for featuring Yasuke as one of the game's main protagonists, as well as taking liberties with Japanese history. The song, which was released on July 6th, has already obtained over 912,000 viewers. Oh, well, boys and girls, it's far past that. Now, it is already over 1 million views right here. And honestly, let's check out this first comment from these guys, too. So this is Cabbage Games right here, which apparently is the translation of their name of their YouTube channel. It says, hello, my overseas brothers. We Japanese are angry about Assassin's Creed Shadow and Ubi. But day by day, history is being revised, and Yasuke is being spread as a legendary samurai. We want to stop this revision history, so we're sending you a song that expresses our anger, sadness, and doubts about DEI of the game. Please listen. And I actually checked this out earlier. They also have a little AI translated version for all of you English folks out there as well. And I highly recommend going and checking out the full song. But we're going to get into some of the highlights of the lyrics as well. So we went over his little comment down there. So based on English captions for the video on YouTube, the lyrics of the song state, is that Yasuke, even though it's Assassin's Creed, the main samurai character is Yasuke. Assassin's Creed didn't show a real person. It's the first time it's been staged in Japan. We are Ubi Sunshine, essentially trying to put the light on Ubisoft for this kind of revisionist history nonsense, which they simply are not going to put up with, nor should they. No one should put up with revisionist history. Whether you like the way history worked out or not, it is our history and it needs to be preserved and understood. So not only can we learn from the mistakes of the past and make sure we don't do them again, but we can also understand what worked so well, why traditions exist, and why we should hold on to them and keep them moving forward. But that's not what these people want. These people want to destroy and erase all of the history and replace it with their own insane ideology, their own insane religion. And guess what? The Japanese are not putting up with it. But what will we do? Japan's history is deep. Difficulty in the research. Here comes Sweet Baby. Yes, that's right. Even they understand the whole Sweet Baby Inc. influence. This is something we've talked about time and time again. This is an advisory company that comes in and sells all of this BS nonsense and forces these companies to completely and totally change their games because of all of this representation nonsense being sold to them, as it will bring in more customers when all it ends up doing is completely and totally irritating an entire country. According to them, the future of gaming is colored people are a must need. So they thought about any historical improvement and see what sticks. The samurai Nobungi, Akaki, and comes along Yasuke. And literally, once again, taking a pick at the fact that this is a Japanese-based game. And if you've ever been to Japan or know anybody that's been to Japan or heard anything about Japan, you know it is primarily an ethno-state, boys and girls. They are all about preserving their culture and preserving their traditions and preserving their way of life, okay? This is one of the things. And then the whole idea of a country like that, especially hundreds of years ago, trying to pick a black guy as an assassin who would literally stick out like a sore thumb is absolutely mind-boggling and insane. That's literally all it is. This is the only way, everyone thought. Do your best to prove the history. Do your best, the guys who know Japan. Do your best, the guys who made Shadows. When we made Puddock, it was criticized. What should we do? Yasuke, for the time being, make him gay and do nothing with Nobungo. Yasuke, Japan's pride. Tatamami is square. Rice harvesting in spring. Burning incense as a shrine. The samurai are all sitting in Saiza. But we, Ubi, are immortal. And boys and girls, this is wonderful. They're absolutely going out there, pulling out all of the stops, not calling them out for all of the kind of stuff. Once again, they know they are trying to rewrite history because not a lot of people out there actually go out there and read the history, and especially for a Western audience out there, for the majority of them will never actually study Japanese culture or history in any kind of real depth whatsoever. This may be their only exposure to Japanese culture and Japanese history, and because of this game alone, millions of people out there will think this is a legitimate historical character because in the past, Assassin's Creed has always had a good track record of trying to be as accurately historically as they could be, whereas this flies completely and totally in the face of everything that they have done before, and guess what? Japan's not putting up with it. It's Assassin's Creed, and the main character is a samurai. Might be really bad. Hire a real Japanese history expert. As a result of searching for various literature, books, and novels, Yasuke isn't actually that great. He was literally just kind of like a guy that was nothing more than essentially a man of the court, right? He was brought in because he was such an unusual person. The emperor at the time, or whoever the guy that was that brought him into the court, the warlord or whatever, was like, wow, this is crazy. A black man. I've never seen something like this before. So come hang out with me. You're awesome. You're really cool. I'll take care of you. I'll protect you. And yeah, the guy did actually carry around a sword at one point, but it was a very traditional kind of situation. And the only battle we hear about him actually fighting in, which even then it's kind of questionable actually if he did or not, he actually ended up dying in. So it didn't really matter. He failed miserably. So, oh yeah. And then they go on to talk about the DEI. So they talk about Elon, the why we filled in the blanks with our history. So what are you going to do? Difficult in the concept art. And then Elon Musk comes along. He said DEI kills art. No. Shadows is the best AC in the series. Don't look down on us, Elon. Elon privated the likes. Don't know what that has to go on to, but it just kind of continues to go on. They talk about the Chinese subs, right? That was a big thing that they were called out for as well. And this is where they made a China. Chinese subs for Japanese users. AI made concept art. All right, we're burning in passion. We're just unknown. We made it public. It was criticized. What should we do, Yasuke? We regret we used Yasuke. Don't underestimate us. Elon, shut up. Elon privated the likes. So this is where they talk about the Chinese subs, and it just kind of goes on and on. So, but it's not just this pop song, which, like I said, has over 1 million views already on the original channel and well over hundreds of thousands of views on the English translation. But since all of this is going on, since the song's release, Japanese politician Satoshi Hamada signaled that he would bring up the game's altering of Japanese history and promotion of Yasuke before the Japanese Diet, Japan's legislature. Using DeepL to translate, Hamada wrote on X, request for opinions. We received a consultation regarding the alteration of Japanese history by a French game company. We share the consultation below with images. We have also quoted a post where we believe points out the problem with the game in question. We would be happy to receive your comments and suggestions, including specific requests. So he is actually wanting to hear from his constituents, from the people around there in Japan. What do you think about this? Let me know what you think. In a subsequent post, he added that he would potentially investigate the historical accuracy of Yasuke as well. Thank you for your many comments about the new Assassin's Creed series of games set in Japan. In relation to the above, we received a consultation from another person about cultural theft and cultural invasion regarding Yasuke, a black man who served Nobunaga Oda. We share the content of the consultation with you. So literally, they have the government investigating it. You have a pop group out there, or at least a YouTube channel out there with over 300,000 subscribers. That is absolutely roasting this, and the comments are the same way. I mean, we can translate these to English. We don't hate Yasuke. I just don't like liars. It's been viewed more times in the official trailer. Something like, your criticism will make it different for Japanese theater productions to be made. Don't be silly. Something said that, but it's much better than having the fiction spread out in the world as historical fact. Exactly. It's historically, yeah, there you go. There's no void in Japanese history that you guys should fill it in with. There you go. I feel the most sorry for Yasuke, who was just brought in as a slave and made to carry baggage, but is still being used as a toy hundreds of years after his death. Yes, exactly, because they have no desire whatsoever to respect historical accuracy. They have no desire whatsoever to respect Japanese culture. This is literally just another example of the insane ideology, the spirit of the age that has infected all of Western civilization and a lot of the highest places, whether it be the gaming industry, whether it be your government, whether it be your Hollywood industry out there, your movies, your television shows. This is something that we have seen time and time again. And just like what we saw what happened with Egypt and them pushing back against Netflix's erasure of history about the true Cleopatra and all of the kind of race swapping and changing they've done, Japan is once again doing this as well. And this seems like a literal repeat of history. You'd think somebody would have paid attention and learned from Netflix's issue, because Netflix got a lot of heat for this as well. It absolutely got blasted for it. The show was one of the least watched of all time. It got ratioed into oblivion, and that's exactly what they deserve. And we're going to see another repeat of history with this one as well, because boys and girls, this show is probably going, or this game is probably going to be the lowest selling of all of the Assassin's Creed games in history, and I cannot wait to see what the government does with this, and it is getting absolutely blasted even by a pop group out there. Japan is not putting up with this nonsense. They are not going to take this sitting down, and Ubisoft, you deserve to be shamed for trying to rewrite the history and the culture of an entire country and an entire people with a rich and beautiful lore. And guess what, boys and girls? They're not going to put up with it, and neither are we.